The Major League Baseball playoffs are a special time of year. Every pitch matters. Every swing can change a game. On Saturday night in Seattle, the Detroit Tigers and Seattle Mariners delivered a classic. Game 1 of the American League Division Series went deep into extra innings. The Tigers emerged victorious, 3-2, making a statement for their young team. T-Mobile Park was electric, the Seattle fans roaring for their first home playoff game of the year. The Tigers, unfazed by the noise, came in focused and determined. Both teams showcased stellar pitching and defense, keeping the score tight. A dramatic home run and a late-game moment of heroism defined the night. For 11 innings, every play felt like it could decide the series. This is what makes October baseball unforgettable. The Tigers proved they belong on this stage, overcoming struggles at the plate and relying on their pitching. It was a true team effort, earning them a 1-0 series lead. They stole home field advantage from the Mariners. The stage is now set for an electrifying series. For Detroit, this win was more than just a victory. It was a declaration. The drama has only just begun. Early on, the Tigers had opportunities but couldn't capitalize. Runners reached base against Mariners starter George Kirby, but the big hit never came. Playoff baseball is unforgiving. Getting on base is only half the battle. Detroit went 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position in the first 3 innings. The Seattle crowd grew louder with every Tigers missed chance. Kirby delivered under pressure, ending threats with strikeouts and weak grounders. The Tigers' dugout stayed calm, trusting their approach and waiting for a breakthrough. Manager A.J. Hinch kept his team focused on the next at-bat, not the last. The mix of young players and veterans refused to panic. They believed that persistence would pay off. The missed chances only heightened the tension as the game stayed scoreless. Rookie starter Troy Melton kept the Mariners off the board, but Detroit's offense needed a spark. The pressure mounted with every scoreless inning. The Tigers needed someone to step up and change the game's momentum. That moment was coming, and it would arrive from an unexpected source. The early struggles set the stage for the drama to come. Every missed opportunity made the next at-bat feel even bigger. The Tigers' patience was about to be tested. The game's intensity was building with every pitch. The breakthrough was just around the corner. Playoff baseball demands resilience, and Detroit was about to show theirs. 4 innings of scoreless tension finally broke in the 5th. Kerry Carpenter, with Parker Meadows on first, faced George Kirby, a pitcher he'd homered off 4 times before. Carpenter didn't miss his chance. A powerful swing sent the ball soaring into the right field seats. A 2-run home run gave Detroit a sudden 2-0 lead. The Tigers' dugout erupted. The Seattle crowd fell silent. After so many missed chances, Detroit finally broke through. Carpenter's blast was the moment they'd been waiting for. One swing changed the game's energy and put all the pressure on the Mariners. The Tigers' offense seemed to wake up, with Riley Green following with a single. Momentum was on Detroit's side, and the Mariners' defense looked rattled. But baseball is unpredictable. Just as Detroit seemed poised to take control, their offense would stall again. Carpenter's home run stood as a turning point, giving the Tigers' pitchers a lead to protect. It was a reminder that in the playoffs, one swing can define a game. The Tigers had seized the moment. Now they needed to hold on. The Mariners were far from finished. The drama was only intensifying. Carpenter's heroics set the tone for the rest of the night. The Tigers had their breakthrough, but the battle was far from over. After Green's single, the Tigers' bats went silent. The Mariners' bullpen took over, retiring 22 straight Detroit hitters. Inning after inning, the Tigers couldn't buy a hit. The 2-run lead Carpenter provided began to feel fragile. Seattle's crowd sensed a comeback, growing louder with every Tigers out. The pressure mounted on Detroit's lineup. The Mariners' pitchers attacked relentlessly, and Detroit had no answer. The Tigers' own pitchers matched the Mariners, keeping the lead intact. The game became a tense duel, pitching and defense on full display. Every pitch felt like it could change everything. The Tigers' offense was desperate for a spark. The Mariners' hitters pressed for a breakthrough of their own. The tension in the stadium was palpable. Would Detroit's pitching hold, or would Seattle finally break through? The long wait for a hit made every moment feel critical. The Tigers clung to their lead, but the margin was razor thin. The next mistake, or big play, could decide it all. The drama was reaching its peak. The question, who would blink first? As the late innings arrived, the tension was suffocating. The Tigers' bullpen held the line, but the offense remained silent. In the 8th, the Mariners finally broke through, scoring to make it 2-1. The one-run lead felt like it could vanish at any moment. The stadium was electric, the Mariners just a swing away from tying or taking the lead. In the 9th, Seattle did just that, tying the game at 2. The crowd erupted, and the Tigers' hard-fought lead was gone. Extra innings loomed, with all the momentum on Seattle's side. The Tigers had to regroup, shake off the disappointment, and focus on the next inning. Will Vest, after giving up the tying run, returned for the 10th and delivered a perfect inning. His composure steadied the Tigers and gave their offense another chance. The game became a battle of nerves and endurance. Every player was exhausted, but the stakes kept them sharp. The Tigers needed a hero. The Mariners were hungry for a walk-off. The pressure was immense on both sides. The next run would likely decide everything. The Tigers had to dig deep. The game was on a knife's edge. Someone had to step up. The 11th inning would be decisive. The drama was at its peak. The top of the 11th brought new hope for Detroit. Spencer Torkelson led off with a patient walk, ending the Tigers' long hitless streak. Another walk followed, 2 on, nobody out. The Mariners crowd grew anxious. Detroit finally had a real chance. But 2 quick outs threatened to waste the opportunity. With 2 outs, Torkelson stood on second, the Tigers' hopes hanging by a thread. The next batter wasn't a star, but the moment was his. The tension was at its peak. One swing could change everything. Detroit's patient at-bats had set the stage. The Tigers had manufactured a chance, not with power, but with grit. The game's turning point was here. The pressure was immense. The Mariners' pitcher was on the ropes. The Tigers needed a hero. The next at-bat would decide the game. In playoff baseball, anyone can be the difference. The moment of truth had arrived. Zach McKinstry, a utility player, stepped up with 2 outs in the 11th. He wasn't known for power, but Detroit just needed a single. Facing a 100-mile sinker, McKinstry focused on contact. He delivered, a sharp grounder up the middle, past diving infielders. Torkelson raced home, sliding in safely. The Tigers took a 3-2 lead. The dugout erupted. McKinstry was mobbed by teammates. After 6 hitless innings, he delivered the biggest hit of the night. It was a perfect example of post-season heroics from an unlikely source. Sometimes it's the role player who shines brightest. McKinstry's clutch single will be remembered by Tigers fans for years. The Tigers were now 3 outs from victory. The pressure shifted to the bullpen. Detroit had their lead back. The finish line was in sight. With the lead restored, the Tigers turned to rookie Keider Montero to close it out. Montero, seeking his first career save, faced the pressure of a lifetime. Calm and composed, he attacked the Mariners' hitters with confidence. He retired the first 2 batters, the crowd holding its breath. The final out came, a grounder, game over. The Tigers celebrated on the field. Montero had earned his first MLB save in the playoffs. Detroit's bullpen had been brilliant, pitching 7 innings and allowing just 1 run. Will Vest and Rafael Montero delivered in high-pressure moments. The relievers kept Detroit alive when the offense struggled. The bullpen's performance was the backbone of this victory. Every arm contributed to the win. The Tigers' resilience and depth shone through. This was a true team effort. The bullpen deserves special credit for this playoff masterpiece. Detroit had survived a marathon. The series had swung in their favor. This Game 1 win is a massive boost for Detroit. They've stolen home field advantage and need just 2 more wins to advance. The Tigers showed they can win tough, close games on the road. Now, they lead the series 1-0, with a chance to take command in Game 2. The next game features ace Tarikskubal, the 2024 AL Cy Young winner, on the mound for Detroit. The Mariners counter with Luis Castillo, setting up another marquee pitching duel. Detroit has all the momentum and confidence. The Mariners face a must-win situation. The series shifts to Detroit after Game 2, putting pressure squarely on Seattle. The Tigers control their destiny. The stage is set for more playoff drama. Detroit has put themselves in the driver's seat. The best of 5 is off to a thrilling start.